you use lies to campaign or to attack your opponents. As long as you're not using lies, anything can go.
Anything can go, but at what point must you have a situation where anything cannot go and should not go? I mean, just recently you had a threat to your life by, some media personalities over some issues. Somebody caught off air trying to say, you'll be done with. But we cannot have a political environment, either off or inside the media, where anything must go for the sake of the Nigerian people. What are your response? How will you respond to that?
Well, see, we have to separate issues, and we don't have to compare apples with oranges. You don't have to conflict issues. You see, in that instance, what you're talking about, and I wish you didn't bring it up, but anyway, what you're talking about, you see, that was a journalist, and then that journalist, he's partisan. He's partisan. He supports Peter Obi, Rufai Oseni of Arise Television. So I've been invited to Arise Television to talk about Bola Tinubu's records, because I had gone to Chicago personally. I went to Chicago State University personally. I didn't go on the internet. I didn't go through like maybe a phone. I went there physically. I provided video evidence that I went there. And I went there to verify that Bola Tinubu actually attended and graduated from Chicago State University. And then they told me that they gave me documentary evidence. And so when I was interviewed by Arise TV, this journalist lied and he said that a lawyer had subpoenaed Chicago State University, and Chicago State University had denied record of Tinubu. And I told him, first and foremost, what you're saying is not true. I went to Chicago State University. I am not a supporter of Bola Tinubu. I went to Chicago State University. I went to the court in Chicago. I was able to prove beyond all reasonable doubt that Bola Tinubu is a drug lord. However, I'm not going to impugn and slander him by saying he did not attend a school that he did. And so the journalist was very upset with me, said some things. And I was in Peru when I was interviewed. So by the time I got back home to my house, I brought the documents that Chicago State University had given me, and I scanned it, I showed it on social media. I also gave the phone number of Chicago State University, as well as their email address, the email address of the registrar. And so this journalist, I think he was embarrassed. He did a video insulting me, which was very unprofessional. He stopped me insulting me. He said my white beards were full of lies. He said all manner of things against me. So the next day, I called the proprietor of Arise TV, Mr. Onduka Obagbena, and I told him, I said, look, these are the evidence. This is what I got from Chicago State University. This is the video evidence of your journalist, Rufai Oseni, lying to the public. And I gave him everything. He said, okay, we're going to do an in-house investigation. After they did their in-house investigation, he called me with Rufai Oseni, and then Rufai Oseni apologized to me. And I said, Rufai, I forgive you before God and man. Imagine my surprise. About 2 hours or 3 hours later, Rufai called my brother and began threatening me, threatening to take me out in 3 minutes, threatening to destroy me, asked my brother to warn me because by the time he's finished with me, and he did not know my brother was recording this conversation. And today you need to listen to the conversation. It's like listening to a mafia don ordering the execution of an enemy. So it was bone chilling. So what I did was I called his proprietor and I said, this is what your boy has done. I sent him the tapes, and then they told me they were going to handle it in-house. But here's the thing, what Rufai Oseni did is not indicative of what the political class are doing. Right now, I don't want people to say that, things are so toxic. The way I see it right now, this political campaigning period has actually been cleaner than previous ones. You see the candidates, Bola Tinubu, Waziri Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, they're talking about their messages. Their campaign teams, their media people are also talking about their messages. Of recent, I know there's been a clash between the APC, PCC media and Arise Television. However, if you take that aside, this has been a rather, well thought out and well-run political campaign period.
Well thought